Welcome to Joyful Miles, where our channel is all about inspiring others to enjoy life 1 mile at a time. I'm Megan, for those of you who haven't been on any of our videos before, and we've got Jackie, Rob, and Laura.
Hello.
And we're here tonight to talk to you a little bit about one of the 3 races that we just recently completed at the Disneyland Half Marathon weekend. That is the actual half marathon. So with that, we have some comments I believe we're going to share with you on some of our previous videos that we'll link below.
We just want to give a shout out to those of you who are giving us your feedback because we really appreciate it. So first I want to talk to TKS Basket. She left a comment on one of our YouTube videos. And kudos to you. You were discussing the hot summer. Many of us throughout the country have had abnormally hot weather. It's been tough. So anyone who's pushed through the hot summer and kept out there, getting out there running, good for you. Congratulations. Congratulations to the 4 of us as well, because we knew we had this race at the end of summer to train for, and we did it. And finally, I want to mention a comment left by Mia Jones. Mia, I do notice you comment a lot on our posts, so thank you. You're kind of one of our loyal followers, and we really appreciate it. I want to give you a shout out. She didn't get to register for Wine and Dine, but she did register to volunteer, and she's hoping to be handing out medals. We'll look for you, and hopefully we'll all get to meet up and connect. So that's the great thing about this. We can connect with our listeners or viewers and cheer each other on. So thank you for the comments this week.
Absolutely. And Rob, you're going to share a very special Joyful Milestones, a friend of ours. Go ahead.
So we're reaching out, if you don't know, want to hear about your Joyful Milestones, achievements you've made, how you're doing with your training, what have you achieved your goals. James ran with us during the Disneyland Half Marathon, and both times was in the last corral. Because he failed to submit proof of time. So make sure you get those proof of times in. But he went and PR'd both the 10K and the half, I think by 10 minutes on the half. So he killed it. So to go from the last corral, I mean, he passed us on the 10K, and he wasn't stopping for us. So he was on a mission. So good for him. That's not easy to do. And it's always exciting when you get a PR, regardless of how much or where you are. So good job, James.
And that proves that it's not the end of the world if you're in the last corral, and you really can PR at a Disney race. So
and just make sure send us your Joyful Milestones. We still have a bunch that we'll try to get to, but just use the hashtag Joyful Milestones on any of our social media. So let's talk Disneyland Half, and I think we're going to start on a little repetitive, and it's going to be Groundhog Day all over again because it was more of the same. What time did we wake up, and what time did we get there?
3:30.
Some of us were there at 4:30. So I think again the proximity. You can't beat that. 4:30 for a 5:30 race. That's just crazy. You don't get that in Florida.
And you're crowd ready to go if you're lucky in Florida. So.
Yes. And once again, we had really cute costumes. We went as the gang from Dumbo. Jackie was Dumbo, Rob and James were Timothy. Rob, your shirts from iGlow Running was like
iGlow Running. I was lazy. I'm not very creative, and my wife is, but she's not in any position to help me right now. So
she's pregnant, viewers who haven't seen the videos.
I got a little lazy, but iGlow Running, fantastic stuff. I can't say enough about the quality, and the turnaround was really quick because I was nervous. Because she does say that it could take 5 to 6 weeks before you get it. So I emailed her, and she's like, "Oh no, you should be fine." And I ordered it, and I got it like a few days later.
Yeah, it was really nice.
So they are a little pricey, but like I said, as running shirts go, I would wear them again.
Yeah. And Megan and Brooke, you guys were the pink elephants. And
I was the pink elephant on parade, and Brooke was the blue elephant. Our headbands were different.
Okay, gotcha. Leslie was Dumbo's mom, and I was a stork, but absolutely no one knew who I was. So.
That shows you how well people know this movie.
It was a hashtag costume fail on my behalf. Everyone was like, "Are you Casey Jr.?" But once again, ease of bag check was very easy. I did check a bag in case I need to charge my phone. We don't know if there was a pre-show on the stage this time, again, because we got there a little late, but the corrals, one thing I did notice about this race is they were seriously checking bibs.
Yeah, I haven't seen that before.
3-4 times, like different points for us.
And there will be multiple people checking your bibs, not just one. I mean, you got hosed down by everybody.
And if you tried to go through, like I literally heard the security guy say, "Get him." I mean,
Be like a water boy tackle.
which is good. I mean that's the point. Disney's, some of the other races that I've done is, you could be in a different corral, but Disney's serious about their corrals.
Yes. So what did you guys think of the pre-show this time?
Boo. It was awkward. I'm sorry, and I don't want to bash these guys.
I
We're because they mean well, and they're like I said, we're used to high energy, great interactions with the runners, and just again the stories. We didn't hear any stories this weekend about why people were running, why were they here. It just wasn't interesting. It was it came across as just awkward and scripted, and it was very corporate.
But, I started talking to a guy next to me who's dressed like Pinocchio, and we were chatting, and he worked at Let's Make a Deal. And Kwame was over, I think Kwame or the other girl were by the corral, and they go to interview someone, and the person just froze. And he was like, "This is why we interview ahead of time for our game show, because you got to make sure the person's comfortable speaking in front of the camera." And it was
right.
It doesn't take long, just kind of do a practice one, just so they know, or ask him, or they literally froze, camera shy, and it was really awkward.
It was Andrea who was in the front of Corral C, and then Carissa and Kwame on the stage.
Okay.
But the national anthem,
That was the best.
That was the
at every race.
it's fantastic. And I'm surprised I have never seen the Dapper Dans do the national anthem before. It was really
It was beautiful.
It was fantastic.
There was a bunch of people around us that were totally geeking out over it. Like they were like, I don't know if you remember, they were like just like fawning over them like they were the Beatles. It was great.
They're in their underpants.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, this is classic Disney. Like, it's an original Disney.
Yeah.
I don't know. So perfect versus just someone singing that you don't.
And no offense to the people that do sing our beautiful national anthem, but you guys had the banjo player for the 5K.
Yeah.
The Dapper Dance for the half. I like that. That's the Disney touch. Like that. I would like to see more of that.
Yes. Yeah. Let's get going to the start of the race. Once again, no fireworks, no confetti, but that was okay. We were excited.
Energy was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were getting away from those announcers, so it was fun. So, I'm sorry. Similar start, up a hill. Only this time we didn't really run as far in the streets. I felt like we got in the park pretty quickly.
Yeah, we went through a different entrance for sure.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised because it's longer. So I thought, for sure we're going to go around the convention center again. They're going to give us a little more street time before we get to the parks. But it was like, bam, we were in the parks, which concerned me because then I'm like, they're going to be over quick. Yeah. It's going to get boring a lot longer, which we get into.
We did not. And Rob, once again, you are prepared with the list of characters of who we saw.
The characters were home run. I mean, again, Mater and Lightning were in Cars Land this time.
Love.
Miko and I believe Pocahontas was there too. We didn't see Pocahontas. We only saw Miko.
I saw Pocahontas.
My favorites, Foul Fellow and Gideon from Pinocchio.
Yeah, you kind of geeked out a little bit with that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen them since I was a kid.
So cute. They were at Paradise Pier, which was once again one of our favorite spots of the whole race. Gorgeous.
As were the Three Caballeros.
Yes.
That was a nice surprise.
That was a selfie station, but it was so colorful and so gorgeous. And just a little hint, anyone here, if you're running solo, you never have to worry about someone, having someone take your picture. We would always just ask the person behind us, hey, do you want to trade phones? And everyone was willing. And
you had Flick and Princess Ada. You had the Stormtroopers again, Lilo and Stitch. Although we only got Lilo, I think.
Yes.
We stopped for they had these signs, like the frame signs, like the little advertising the Disneyland Half and stuff. So those, we saw some of those. We stopped at the Dumbo ride because they have the car you can sit in outside of the ride and take pictures with. So that was fun.
We saw a girl who was dressed as Dumbo, and I'm it's very late while we're filming. It's now almost 11 o'clock. I can't remember her blog's name, but I'm definitely going to write it across here. But we saw her take a CM up to the Dumbo ride, and Rob and I were like, hey, let's go. And it was actually one of the cutest pictures of the whole race. So thank you. I'm going to have your name here. Thank you for the good idea again.
Jane and Turk from Tarzan. Again, don't really see them. Robin Hood, favorites of mine that were in the double-decker bus again. And then as you came out, the mayor was there. We missed the Dapper Dans; they weren't there. But I think Megan, you got
I had
pictures.
the Dapper Dans.
Jack, you got the Dapper Dans, right?
And I ran
Yeah.
into Megan at that point. It was funny. We ran into each
And
other.
then we thought we were leaving the park, and then all of a sudden we ran across the street back into California Adventure and through the front, and they had the trolley there again, which is just a fun stop.
Which Rob got hit by the
I
trolley
got
this
hit this
time.
time.
I got hit at the 10K. It was Rob's turn to take the hit, and I think I got hit in the 5K too. The trolleys were awesome. That was a great touch.
And then Sully.
That was right by the statue of Walt and Mickey, so we didn't do the trolley this time, but we did do Walt and Mickey again.
That would have been a good picture.
But then Sully was on the way out, almost on the way out. Again,
And I had Mike Wazowski there.
Yeah.
They swapped.
And Sully growled at us. That was.
He did.
He was into it.
That was awesome.
And then we left, and then you're starting to think, okay, that's it, the fun's over, because we're out of the parks. But then it was fun. The atmosphere on the streets was surprising.
Well, Rob, you even said something like, you even made the comment like, oh, well, there goes all the fun. Now it's the time for the boring part.
For the boring part. But I mean, it completely surprised me. The amount of people that were out there, entertainment-wise. We saw the Mexican dancers.
Gorgeous.
That was a sight.
You know what I loved about them too? Not only were the dancers, but all the families sitting there and their Sunday morning cheer. It
almost felt like this is what they do every week, right? Like this is what they do on Sunday morning. They just come hang out.
Do that. My family would never go watch me.
They're all lined up for high fives. It's really awesome.
The hula dancers, all sorts of cheerleaders, the bands. The bands are so much. The bands are so much fun.
Yeah, I like one area they had the two bands, and like one would play, and then they'd get a break, and then the next would, and it was kind of neat to hear back and forth.
And then we finally hit the stretch with the classic cars. So we started walking through that, and we're like, okay, that's cool. And then you turn the corner, and there's more, and you turn the corner, there's more, and it's like, okay, we have to run, otherwise we're never going to finish this race. But that was just a sight. I couldn't get over the types of cars and the people. They were into it too.
They were so into it.
And the cars started, I think, from like the oldest. I don't know. I maybe a little bit in the middle mix, but like they started with the really old cars and then progressed, I think, to the very end where like,
there's a bunch of mini vans together, and then the hot rods were together. So it was very awesome. Then they had the Love Bug and the
Herbie
Bugs.
And the DeLorean, which was my favorite.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, so nice because it was him. I go, "Is this your car?" And he said, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Would you mind taking a picture?" And he was so cute. He was like he's like, the light's kind of bad. He was trying to like get it good. So he was really nice. Can you imagine owning a DeLorean? That would be awesome.
And the license plate said Time Machine.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
And then of course that led us into the Angel Stadium, which was another highlight for me. That because I was looking forward to that, and I'm not a fan of wide roller sports. I hate running through wide roller sports, but running through Angel Stadium was cool. It was really cool.
There was some concern that with the construction that we would not be able to run through that. So when the course came out, it was a very big sigh of relief because that was amazing.
And it's just what you need at mile 10. Like it's what you need to kind of get you to the final stretch, because those last 3 miles can be tough on any half. And like,
well, you run into the stadium and there's people cheering and there's
kids,
high fives. I mean,
all those little faces, like they're so smiley and they're all having fun. So cute.
And they're announcing your name.
Rob got his name called, but they didn't try your last name.
They didn't try my last name.
They did mine. I guess they didn't want to attempt it.
Walker, Samantha, Robert. We welcome Amy. Lovely. Laura Powers, Liz Walsh, Lisa Howell, Shelley.
And then the funniest part, we were coming out to the exit, and there was a gentleman there who was working, an elder gentleman, and we asked if he would take our picture. Go ahead,
He had no
Rob.
idea how to use a phone.
He had no idea.
He had no
and he
idea.
ended up having to hold it like
He was
this
like-
to take our picture.
He had it like at his crotch almost. It was like a little weird. It's like, look at the guy's crotch. All right.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
It was so funny.
That was a little weird, but it was a lot of fun.
Amazing.
And then coming out, I mean, we saw so many great people just cheering. I mean, we come out of the stadium and there's all these people like with treats and the one woman with I think you had seen her before at Tink.
She was at Tink, and I'm going to put a picture up of her sign. She had paper towels, sunblock, snacks, water. I mean, she was like a whole little service
Aw.
station. It was so sweet, very sweet. And then we had the people that had the whole circus. They made a circus booth, and they were amazing. And then we got vines, which kind of freaked you out, Rob, because they were so good.
I'm usually a Twizzler guy, and those were like the best red vines I've ever had.
They went down really good. And then
Yeah.
she gave us out like the almond something chocolates.
Almond Roca.
They were amazing. And just a quick shout out too for Disney and all of their the water stops. There were so many water stations.
That was one drawback to the 10K. There was only like 2 water stops the entire race.
Yeah, I definitely felt a lack of that. No Gatorade either at the 10K. So we were worried about the half, thinking, oh gosh, are they going cheap with the water stops? And it was probably the most I've seen in any race.
Yeah, because at one point we had to skip the water stop because it was like I'm gonna like blow up.
But in all actuality, after the 10K, I went back and I looked and like, why is there only water? If we would have all read the program, I guess we would have seen that it's only water.
We don't do that.
Oh, darn. Those details.
And there was plenty of porta pots. I think I went to the bathroom more for this race than I have for any other
because we were drinking so
5K.
much water.
Well, yeah, and we didn't study the course map, so we didn't know if this was the last one before the finish, because I hate going over the finish line having to pee right away.
Yeah, and then we ran into
Patty Holiday,
right.
My No Get Life. Well, it was after we took a picture, and then I looked up and I saw a lady holding a sign that looked very similar to Peggy Sue's. If you're familiar with Peggy Sue, she used to go to all of the runDisney races. She was in a wheelchair, and she would hold up a sign that said, "Hello, stranger, I'm proud of you," something to that effect. And I kind of looked at the sign first, and I got a little sad, and then I looked up, and there's Patty Holiday, and I got like a little geeked out and awkward. So, I made a great impression, guys. Let's just put it that way. So
I felt like an idiot because I'm like, oh, is this a friend of yours? I wasn't expecting to like see, you know what I mean?
I was so unsmooth.
It's completely random.
Yeah, I was so unsmooth. So I finally get to meet her. She's one of my vlogging heroes, and I kind of bombed, but we got a picture with her.
Well, let's get to the finish. Our favorite part, right?
Yes, it was my favorite part.
Yeah, I mean, it's always you want to be done with it, right? That last mile.
It was good till about mile 11, and then I was like, oh gosh.
When I got to mile 11, I think Brooke and I felt a little better because if you had heard all the things going on in my head and the conversations I had up until that point, it was.
James at mile 11. Our friend that was in the last corral, caught up to me by mile 11, so I probably slowed him down with his PR a bit. But that was nice to have some company that last 2 miles because I was hurting and he kind of distracted me a bit. I haven't trained the best as best as I should have. But so it was nice to have someone to cross the finish line at the same time with me.
That was nice.
And we crossed that finish line. We got a medal.
Look at that bling.
This is Mickey and Pluto, which makes a little bit more sense buddy-wise.
Very pretty. Yeah. And where's that
and
challenge medal?
We did the challenge.
Oh, that's
we got one of the most prettiest medals, I think we all agree.
Yes, this is one of my
Dumbo with the movable ears.
Love that. Love that. And Rob and Megan.
And then, of course, if you do a coast to coast in the same calendar year, you get a nice, pretty medal. And that's one of my favorites, too.
It's so
How
good.
could you not love that, right?
It's beautiful.
This classic, perfect.
So cool.
That's great.
Gorgeous bling. And of course,
which is why we do this.
Plenty of video. And then afterwards, Rob and I decided that we had time to go get a beer, and then we were going to go to the finish line area and take video of everyone as they were coming in. We were going to be really great friends. And what happened?
We saw them run by.
You saw James's head.
It's the first thing you see James's head. It's like, hey, there they are. They're running. And what can we do?
So we weren't as great as friends as we had hoped to be, but then we hooked up. We enjoyed our snacks.
Thank you for sharing your Oreos with me, everybody. I claimed most of the Oreos from.
Well, I had 2, so I don't know how I ended up with 2 Oreos. All right, so I think that about wraps us up for the races. But first, we're going to do another sprint to the finish line where we ask a very quick question, and it seems only right for us to go ahead and grade everything about the Disneyland Half Marathon, even though if you've been watching, you kind of suspect what our answers are going to be already. So, starting with the expo, Jackie, what rating did you give that?
The expo, I'm not a huge shopper, so I will say B plus.
B plus.
I
Robert?
don't.
I said it before, I don't get excited for these expos generally, but the fact that it was so easy and I didn't have to worry about the bus and it was just right there, it's an A.
Okay, Megan?
I will give it an A minus just because I didn't spend a whole lot of time there to give it a full A, and that's what I'm just going to go with. That's my statement.
And I'm going to give it an A because normally for Disney World expos, I get all type A and I have anxiety. And you know what? For this one, I was chilled, I was relaxed, and I had fun with my friends. So an
They had a
A
bar.
for me. And they had a
How
bar.
could you not love that? We're not alcoholics, I swear.
All right, Jackie and you and I are going to grade the Country Bears 5K. You want to do it at the same time? One,
Yeah.
2, 3,
A
A.
plus. A plus. I'm gonna say A plus.
A plus. Definitely one of my favorite 5Ks.
It really, I can't say enough about
Loved
that.
it, loved it, loved it. All right, guys, let's go on to the Disneyland 10K, starting with Megan this time.
I'll give that an A.
All right, Robert?
It's an A plus for me. This
A
is
plus.
the one I'm going to be judging every other 10K by.
Jackie?
I'm gonna say A minus. I just am not a huge fan of Aladdin and Genie, so I didn't love the medal. It's a kind of a lame thing and a reason, but just for me, it took away a little of the excitement. It's not my favorite. If it was a different theme, I may have liked it a little more. Other than that, the race itself was awesome.
I'm going to mirror Rob's A plus because the smile on my face after the finish stayed on for a really long time, and I just love the vibe. I loved everything about it, so I'm going to give it an A plus. All right, Disneyland Half Marathon. Let's start with Rob this time. We all know what it's going to be, so just go ahead.
I hate to sound like a cheerleader here, but A plus. I thought again, this is the best one I've done so far.
Yeah.
This to me is the benchmark, and this is why I want to go back and do it. I mean, like we said, it was one and done. I was going to do it just to do it, just to get me coast to coast, and it's my favorite race series now.
Megan?
I'm going to deviate from the norm, and part of this, I'll clarify my numbers because A, it was so darn hot and I really didn't train as much as I would have. And there were moments, as I've said, in my head that I would have just really liked to be done and never run another race. So that clarifies it. So I'm only going to give it a B. And I think I could probably give it even less than that. I think there was good race support. There was good. The volunteers were awesome. There were plenty of Powerade and water stations. I just, probably because I took longer with characters in the beginning than I ever have before in my life, it didn't set us up in the most positive. I wasn't mentally prepared for me to take that long for the first 3.5 miles. So that's partly me, but I'm giving it a B.
Yeah, I think it's good for you to answer honestly and say, because people want to hear everyone else's perspective, in case they have the same issue. So yeah. Jackie?
I'm going to say, I'll say an A, not an A plus. Maybe deducting because of the announcers, which I probably should have for all the other things, but I guess I should have deducted for all of them. But the announcers were negative, and I ran a majority of that alone. And sometimes it's hard running a half marathon by yourself, so you miss some of the magic you get when you have someone else with you to bounce, photographs off of and stuff like that. So again, it's not the race's fault. It's not runDisney. That's just my own personal experience. That's why I didn't give it the plus.
Extra credit, I will say that we lucked out with the weather too. We couldn't have asked for
Yes,
better
if it
running
was
weather
100
this weekend,
degrees.
because I've heard some horror stories.
The year I did it,
previous years.
2013, it was like 95, and when we did that stretch along right before the stadium, it was unbearable. So
Yeah.
And
We really lucked out, and I think that helped too.
It was
Last year-
overcast, very lovely weather, absolutely. Which probably is why I'm giving it an A plus, because I just found the whole experience just amazing. Actually, when we finished, we want to go back and do it again. But we do want to send out a very sincere and grateful thank you to the spectators and the many, many volunteers who just were awesome. To the employees of Disneyland who were there early to cheer us on. Just amazing. You guys really made our day, and just I'm so grateful for that. So thank you.
Mhm.
And I want to give a shout out to our friends that were with us, Brooke, James, and Leslie, because you contributed to an amazing weekend.
Absolutely.
And so if you're watching, thank you, and we hope to do more. I hope to do more races with you.
Well, that again wraps up another exciting segment. At least we hope you thought it was exciting about the half marathon that we just completed as part of the Disney's Dumbo Double Dare race series. And so what we are hoping is if you continue to share your stories, what you thought about the half marathon. Tell us what you liked. Tell us if you gave it an A+, or if you weren't quite as trained and gave it a B. No fault, of course, of runDisney, but that was my own personal perspective. So if you like this, we'd love for you to subscribe, give us a thumbs up. And we are going to be doing race recaps. And depending on which race I seem to recap, we will see done a little bit differently.
Yes, they'll be on our blog, joyfulmiles.com, and I'm going to be doing video recaps here on the channel very shortly.
So again, we hope that you have a joyful day and a joyful week.
Thanks for tuning in.
Happy running.
Bye.
We have new outros. Hey, Rob, can you burp or fart or scratch or something?
I can't do it on command.